growing an ecom brand profitably is not a straight line. You need to understand the foundation, where you're going to go, and work backwards from the consumer and your end goals. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how my company, Phantom Brands, grows and creates ecom brands for public figures like NBA star Marvin Bagley III and existing 6-figure and 7-figure ecom brands. So the first thing we want to look at is the foundation of the brand and how we're positioned in the marketplace, right? Because a lot of people, when they start ecom or they want to grow really, really quickly, all they think about is, let's run ads, let's get traffic, let's do this, let's do that. But that can be an entire money pit if your foundation is not set up. So let's talk about the foundation and why that's so important. So number one is our foundation, okay? And this is the premise of brand, USP, market alignment, positioning, value, all of that, right? So we really need a clear-cut understanding of our target audience. Very, very clear-cut. We need to understand not only who they are, where they are, but why do they spend money on this type of product? What are their interests? What else do they like beyond the product that is kind of in the realm of similar interests? Like if we're talking about gym clothes, what workouts do they do? Are they hiking? Are they biking? Are they running? All of those nuances are super, super important so we can target them and market to them better and write to them, right? Because consumers don't really care about understanding you. They want to feel understood. And if our copy and our content and our marketing is unpositioned properly with our target audience, it's not going to convert, it's not going to click, we're going to waste money on ads, and everything's going to crumble beneath us, right? So we really, really, really need to know our target audience. How we can do that? If you have an existing client base, run surveys via email to get that data from them. If you don't have an existing client base or customer base quite yet, join groups, talk to people, be resourceful, right? But this is utterly so important. Because we also need to understand, from a marketing perspective, working backwards, their deeper internal psychological buying patterns, right? Not only their interests, but what are they hoping to internally gain from the product? Like where are they aspiring to go in their own lives so that we can position our brand, our ecom brand, to help them get there, right? It's like the ascension arc. So target audience and brand alignment, let me write that as well. So important. And at any stage, we are evaluating this. Even the brands that we work with that are doing hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, we still go back to this. We still say, okay, but do we really understand our target audience? When is the last time we did a survey? When is the last time we collected data and information about why they're buying, what they care about, all these sorts of things, and aligning it with our copy and creative? Because it's very easy to get sidetracked, okay? There's a lot going on with when you own an ecom brand, so this is very, very, very important. Now, another thing that we need to understand is foundation in terms of website and branding. So everybody cares about traffic, ads, all that sort of stuff, right? But if we're running ads or pushing so much organic, or we have an affiliate structure, right? Any model or channel that we're running a ton of traffic through, and our foundation, our branding, and our copy, like all that stuff is off, our content, it's not going to convert. It's not going to convert. That's why we need to start with the target audience. But through the foundation, through the website, we need to be speaking to the individual, right? And I'm also going to write, just to be clear, copy plus content. Because all of it needs to be congruent. We need complete congruency with the copy in the website, in your emails, in your content, on your social media, with your content, with your branding, with your website actual like user interface and experience before we drive traffic. Okay, we start with the person and then we optimize around them with our foundation of where they're going to go. It's the experience, right? We don't want to give them an unaligned experience that they can't feel understood with, and they get to our, we're running ads and they love our ads, and then they get to our website and they're like, this isn't for me. This doesn't make sense, right? Fears and objections are not being answered for me. I don't feel understood. They bounce. They don't buy. Right? They don't sign up for the emails or they unsubscribe. That is when you get fractures and breaks in the process of customer acquisition. Right? So right now we're just talking about customer acquisition and making sure all these things are aligned before we start driving traffic. Okay? Now, once we have our foundation, right? And by the way, there's a ton of nuances in obviously content and obviously your copy, in your branding, in your website. Like I can't go into all the nuances, but in each realm of that, like just for content, you want to study the greats, you want to iterate, you want to have a feedback loop, you want to improve, you want to do all those things to make it better consistently over time and have systems around each one so you can do it on autopilot. But again, I can't go into the nuances today. So Number 2 is traffic. Now, there's a million ways to drive traffic to an e-com brand, right? You have, let me write it down. You have affiliates, you have paid ads, affiliates / partnerships. We can put them in a one. You have organic, you have SEO, and a bunch of others, right? But these are the main ones. Now, we need to create and select a traffic channel that makes the most sense for our demographic, right? Because ecom is similar in the fact that it's a physical product, sure, but depending on who you're targeting to is really going to matter. That's why the foundation is so important, right? Because if we're targeting 18-year-old girls for like some little makeup thing or whatever, we're probably going to need to do affiliates and paid ads and organic, right? SEO, probably not so much, because they're looking and they're being influenced by people via affiliate, via organic, and then they're also like on TikTok. Like that's probably their platform, right? And so if we run organic looking paid ads on TikTok, it's probably going to perform so long as that our foundation is correct. So understanding our target audience will ultimately dictate where we're going to drive traffic from, right? And this is where we get eyeballs, and it's really, really, really important that the eyeballs that we're getting are aligned, and they are the people that we want to actually see, like we're talking to the right people, right? That's why it's so easy to just waste a ton of money with paid ads, because if you're not getting quality traffic and you don't have quality creatives to run the paid ads with, there's a break in the system, right? And again, every single one of these is going to have nuances, but as a rule of thumb, we need to be talking to our demographic, we need to be organic, we need to actually solve problems, and we want it to be that ascension product for our demographic, for our target audience, right? So like, for example, if we're talking organic should be a couple different styles of content, right? You have like product skills, you have a storytelling video, you have entertainment video, you have product video. All of these things should be focused around resonating with that target audience. And again, every single one of these is gonna have a ton of nuances, but that's the general rule of thumb. Everything goes back to why are they buying? Why are they buying? What can we benefit? What can they benefit from our product? How can we provide benefit to their lives? Why are they buying? That will dictate all of our traffic modems, channels, if you want to say, for our ecom brand. Okay. In another video, I'll go into all the nuances of traffic, but for the sake of keeping this concise, this is what we're looking at, right? Like when we're growing brands, and there's still more to come, but when we're growing brands, we start with the foundation, and it's like, okay, we clearly understand who we're going to market to, who we're going to target with our product, what it does for them, why they would want it. Now, let's drive them in with traffic through different levers we can pull. Okay. Now, once we're driving traffic, right now we're at bottom of funnel, and now we're also looking at post-client experience, right? Like this is all very centered around customer acquisition costs, right? Like this is basically what this is. We're looking at CAC right now. Now, the next phase is going to be average order value and lifetime value, which those are really only the three metrics that really matter. So let's dive into AOV really quickly. Average order value is a big component of profitability. Massive. Absolutely massive. AOV equals profit. Like it can honestly make or break you, right? Like let's say, for example, your AOV is $70, right? But your customer acquisition cost is 30 or 40. You're screwed. But if we can add 20% to that AOV, let's say we make it $85, that's a big change. Every single customer spending that much more adds up. It adds up a lot. So let's talk about how to do that, right? Because this is more bottom of funnel. This is when the traffic's there, the alignment's there. How do we get them to spend more, right? So there's different incentives we can do for AOV. Obviously, the first one is website bundles, cross-sells, upsells, right? Cross-sells, upsells. Now, you don't want to abuse these, right? And it also depends on the brand you have, right? Like if you're a status brand, you're not going to be throwing bundles at them. It'll completely depreciate your perception as a brand, right? So again, that's why foundation is so important. So we want to take aligned action with how we're going to manufacture a higher order value. But this is a good place to start, right? But what I love as well is email, post-purchase, cross-sell, and that can kind of go into LTV. But what we want to focus on is segmenting and making sure that when we do execute this, it's very aligned with, and I'll add like the shipping incentive as well, with their buying decisions. Shipping free over X amount. We can also do referral incentives, posting incentives. For example, referral incentives. Let's say for every person they refer, they get a free item in their order, up to like X amount of dollars, right? That is going to incentivize them to spend more, obviously. Like, even though they're getting a free item, they're going to want to spend more. Or maybe you put a threshold to it, right? Like, every person you refer, you get a free hat for every order of over $60. Just a clothing example, right? Or for posting incentives, right? You can do the same sort of manipulative incentive with them posting on their social. So there's a bunch of different little nuances and things that you can pull in order to increase that AOV. Also, I would just increase your prices. That is like the easiest way. I'm gonna absolutely write that. Because price is brand perception. And until we have actual data and an understanding of our consumer, a lot of times they don't even care about price. It's going to be super marginal to them. That's not the reason they buy, right? Typically. But again, you need the data. So just increase your prices like immediately. Your perception is going to go up. You're going to have more per customer. You're going to be more profitable. Boom. But on the back end as well, where we really want to go and where we want to grow is our LTV, right? Because that's super important in terms of lowering our customer acquisition costs and be more profitable, right? Because you don't want to have to work super hard for every dollar you make, ideally, right? You don't want to have to run ads and do all these sorts of things for every single order. And this is what's going to help you with that. So, lifetime value. Okay. Now, what this means, if you're not aware, is that every consumer that goes into your customer base, we want to extract as much revenue out of them over the time that they're a part of our brand as possible. Because we only have to pay to acquire them one time, right? And this is where a lot of the profit and the money is made. So obviously, what's super important to this is fantastic emails. And I'll speak briefly on emails, but we don't want to be just pushing product 24/7, right? That, like, think of it as human, like, they're people, right? They're people. Think of this as human beings. Would you want to be hard sold by somebody all the time, every second of every day? Absolutely not, right? So with our customer data that we acquired, let's talk about value and storytelling and all these sorts of things that can help build a bond with the customer. Wow. If we send 10 emails a month, only a couple should really be about product. The rest should be about nurturing them and also targeted segmentation to show that we care about them, right? So value, products, story, plus segmentation. So like, for example, if you have a consumer that bought one product, right? Maybe you have that same product in a different variation. That is something you would segment to them via emails. Be like, hey, we noticed you bought this. You know, typically people that buy this really love this. And because you're a returning customer, here's a discount code, blah, blah, blah. That's basically free money. Now, another way to increase LTV is obviously the community you actually build, the brand you actually build, the frequency of new products you actually do. Like, all of these things are going to matter when it comes to lifetime value. So new products. Is your product on a subscription basis, right? Like, all of these things really matter. New products. Wow, that's a bad C. Community, brand, all these things. Right? Like, if you build a community through your brand with your socials and with your engagement, and you have these amazing customer relationships, they're going to come back often, right? They're going to come back often. We also want to be more frequent with our product droppings, right? Like, if you're normally dropping new products once a year, twice a year, right? Like, why don't we chop those up and make it quarterly or every 2 months, right? Because it's going to incentivize a better relationship, more engagement, more money on the back end, right? And LTV is, again, a big, big factor in profitably growing the brand. But I can't go into all the nuances today. That is the general framework of how we grow, build brands. And of course, we can look to adjustable market sizes and go over to other markets and kind of like expand the product range. But generally speaking, that is the foundation. That is how we are growing brands in every single aspect. Of course, there's nuances. Things are going to go as well. You have to iterate. You need a feedback loop. You need to improve. You need to reinvest. But if you can really, really understand organic, lifetime value, AOV, you're going to be profitable. Right? It's the people that just run ads with no understanding of this that lose a shit ton of money. So if you want more information on growing brands, business mindset, etc., drop me a comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next video.